Hello and welcome to our second lecture for small business management and entrepreneurship. Last week we looked at the introduction. Today we want to look at business opportunities and innovations. Um, So by the end of this class, you should be able to identify, evaluate business opportunities. You will be able to identify and evaluate business opportunities. You should be able to examine the role of creativity and innovation in entrepreneurship. And then describe the idea generation techniques. You should also be able to conduct feasibility studies. Okay, so I left out and right. So basically that is it. So you identify and evaluate business opportunities, examine the role of creativity and innovation in entrepreneurship, describe the idea generation techniques, and then you conduct feasibility studies and market research. So basically these are our objectives for the class, right? So if we say a business opportunity, right? What is a business opportunity? A business opportunity is any potential venture or idea that can be developed into a profitable enterprise. So any idea or potential venture or thought, anything that can be developed into a profitable enterprise is called a business opportunity. And how you get a business opportunity or how you're able to come by a business opportunity can be based on a lot of things, all right? But it involves identifying gaps, all right, in the market. So what is already existing? What do people need? What is not there? Those gaps, in trying to fill those gaps, you come up with business opportunities. Okay, so it involves identifying gaps in the market and finding solutions that cater to unmet consumer needs and wants. All right. So if you have an idea that has the potential to generate income or that has the potential to be developed into an enterprise, how do you know if it's a good business opportunity or not? So there are some characteristics of a good business opportunity. A good business opportunity, number one, meets an identifiable market need. Okay, that business opportunity must meet a market need. If we say market, we are not referring to a location. The market here refers to the people, your potential clients. What do they need? So your ability to meet that need shows that the idea you have is a good one. So if the idea is such that it is not meeting any identifiable market need, then it means that the idea or the opportunity is not a good one. It should be profitable, okay? It should be sustainable. You should be able to scale up that opportunity. On the market, you should be competitive. You should have a competitive advantage on the market. There should be something about your idea that makes people want to align with you and with your organization rather than any other entrepreneur. Okay, so a good business opportunity should have competitive advantage on the market, and it should also be introduced at the right time. Okay, a good business opportunity is one that comes in at the right time. So you should be able to know the times, all right, and getting right on time, not earlier or not later. Okay, and in identifying a viable business idea, there are some factors to consider. Okay, the first is to consider what the consumer needs. All right. It may it may shock you that most of the items that you may have in mind to produce, consumers do not really need it. Okay, so it's important that when you are identifying a business idea, you go out there and look out for what the consumer really needs. Okay, you also have to be able to study the market trends, how things are going. All right, how sales have been going, how supply is going, how demand is going. You should be able to study that market trend. All right, have a fair idea of what is happening on the market. Then you should also know what competition is doing. So you may want to find out who else is involved in the industry you want to get into. What are they doing? How are they going about their businesses? You also have to look at the legal and regulatory environment. So if you want to start a business in that area, what is required of you? Okay, what are the legal requirements? What are the regulatory requirements for that industry? You would want to know all of that. Okay, then you would also want to find out if the resources you need are available. Okay, if the resources you need to operate are available or not. If they are not available, what it means is that you may have to spend a lot to acquire your resources or your raw materials. At the end of the day, maybe your final product will be more expensive than what is on the market. So you would have to check and know the resources that are already available on the market, right? You will also want to check the risk factors. Okay, what is likely to affect your company negatively? What is likely to make your idea not work at all? So these are some factors to consider when you are identifying a viable business idea. You have to check the consumer's needs, check market trends, check out for what competition is doing, find out the legal framework and the regulatory environment for that particular industry. Also check for the availability of resources as well as the risk factors that can affect your idea negatively. So there are also methods of assessing whether a particular business idea will succeed or not. Okay, you can choose a SWOT analysis where you check the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats of the idea you have come up with. You can also perform a pestle analysis where you check the external environments, check how that is able to affect your business idea positively or negatively. You would also want to perform a feasibility studies, check and see if your idea can stand the test of time. Is it something that will work? You have to check that. You may also want to consider a cost benefit analysis. Okay, check what you are putting in and what you are likely to get out. Is it something that is worth it? Okay, all these are ways of assessing whether your business idea has a potential of success or it will fail. And then you can also use a break-even analysis where you check at what point you are likely to start making profits if you invest in that idea. So all of these are various ways you can assess if a particular business idea has the potential for success or not. Okay. All right. So we look at creativity as a core of entrepreneurship, right? If we pick entrepreneurship, you cannot take out creativity. What then is creativity? Creativity in entrepreneurship, So creativity in entrepreneurship refers to the ability to generate new and original ideas or to view existing problems from a fresh perspective. Okay. And based on this, you are able to come up with innovative solutions. All right. It is often the foundation for creating unique products and services or business models that distinguish a venture from its competitors. So in order for you not to be doing what every other person is doing on the market, you need to be creative. You need to generate new ideas and come up with original things, okay? New things. And even if there's a problem and you want to solve it, there's the need to look at the problem from a fresh perspective. Be creative, okay? Is the foundation for creating unique products, services, or business models that distinguish a venture from its competitors. So creativity is not limited to artistic pursuits. All right. It is a problem-solving tool and is used to maneuver challenges and seize opportunities in a business world. All right. So think about this. We will discuss it in class. What's the importance of creativity in entrepreneurship? Think about it. We'll talk about it when I meet you. So what then is the difference between creativity and innovation? All right. Creativity is the generation of new ideas or concepts. And these are often unstructured and without immediate practical application. So creativity is basically the ability to think in novel ways and imagine what doesn't yet exist. So in other words, creativity is more abstract, okay? Then we have innovation, which is the practical implementation of creative ideas into tangible products, services, or processes that deliver value. So while creativity is about thinking of new things, innovation is about doing new things. So creativity is limited to the mind, imagination, right? Whilst innovation is tangible, you see it, we see what has been done. So converting your idea into a tangible product or into a tangible service means that you have moved from creativity to innovation. So creativity is abstract and innovation is tangible. We can see it. So creativity is the ideation phase, while innovation is the execution phase. So there are several types of innovation that you have. You can have product innovation, you can have process innovation, you can have business model innovation, and then you can have marketing innovation. With product innovation, it means you are coming up with a new product altogether on the market. Process innovation means that you are looking at new ways or alternative ways of doing something that is already being done. So that is coming up with a new process, right? Then you have business model innovation, coming up with a new way of carrying out a particular business type, okay? So if previously people were, for example, cooking and delivering to people on their birthdays, right? Then you may want to come up with a new model that says, well, we won't even wait for your birthday. We design or we will do what you want even before the birthday comes. Okay, so coming up with a new business model altogether, not what every other person is doing. Okay, previously the delivery or let me say the delivery companies were not as much as we were seeing them until the mode of doing business for some people changed. Okay, so instead of the consumer going to the business now comes to the consumer. That's business model innovation. Okay, then you have marketing innovation. Okay, you're finding new ways of going out there and talking about your product or giving information about your product. Okay, so that's marketing innovation. Then in coming up with business ideas, there are techniques that can be used. Okay, so there are various idea generation techniques you can use to come up with a business idea. There's what you call the brainstorming. Brainstorming is where you have a number of people, maybe 2 or 3, seated together, right? And then you encourage people to think and share their thoughts. So brainstorming helps people to think freely, and then based on the several ideas that they have, they share ideas, you put them together, and then you can have something meaningful to work with. Okay, there's also the mind mapping, where you visually organize the thoughts, or you visually organize your thoughts into a chart. And as you watch the map, or as you watch the chart, it spurs creativity in your mind. So as you look at the chart, you're able to think about something that can be done. Okay, that's what you call the mind mapping. Then we have the SCAMPA. SCAMPA is an acronym that stands for substitute, combine, adapt, modify, put to other use, eliminate, or reverse. Okay, so you can find any existing products, and to be able to generate ideas, as you look at the product, you can think about the substitutes of that product. What can be used to substitute that product? And as you think about it, ideas will come up. Okay, you can also look at how you can combine various parts to come up with that same product. Okay, so in that case, you dismantle the product in your mind, and then you think about how you can put them together. So what and what and what can be put together to arrive at the end product, and that spurs ideas in your mind. Okay, then there's also the adapt. All right, or you may want to modify a particular product, or you may want to put a product or a service to other use, or use it for something else. Okay, or you may think about what will happen if you eliminate a product. Okay, then it triggers you to come up with new ideas. All right, and then there's the reverse, where you think about so if, let's say, there's the end product, you want to start from the end to the beginning. All right, and see how things can be done, right, in a reverse form. And that helps to bring ideas to you. Okay. You may also want to conduct a SWOT analysis on an already existing product or an already existing service. And as you conduct the analysis for that product or service, it helps you to think about an opportunity, or it helps you to generate ideas. Okay. Then as you generate the ideas, you have to check and see if what you have come up with is feasible. Okay, so you call it feasibility studies. A feasibility study is an assessment of the practicality and potential success of a proposed business idea. So what the feasibility study does is to answer the question of whether the idea you have come up with will work or not. Okay, so as you do this, what will happen is that you'll be checking the various factors that can impact on the implementation and success of your idea. And it makes you know if what you have is something that you can work with or not. And the main purpose for conducting these feasibility studies is to identify the strengths and the weaknesses, the opportunities and risks associated with the business idea. And it helps to inform decision making, and then also reduce uncertainty. Okay, so as you conduct the feasibility studies, you get to know the areas of strength of your idea, the shortfalls of your idea, and how you'll be able to go through any challenges that are likely to come up. So feasibility studies helps entrepreneurs determine whether their idea is financially viable, operationally possible, and market ready. So you notice that it's not just whether it's financially viable. It's not just when it's market ready, but it's when it's financially viable, operationally possible, and then market ready. Okay, so for the feasibility studies, you may need to do a market analysis. You may have to conduct the technical feasibility. You will also have to do the financial feasibility, and then also look at the legal considerations, right? Then we also look at how to conduct a market research. So in conducting a market research, there are several ways that can be done. You can do a primary research or you can do a secondary research. The primary research is where you go out there and conduct surveys, interviews, and focus groups. So you go out there to meet the potential people. You meet the people yourself, get information from the people, all right? Or you can do a secondary research where you use existing data sources. So with the secondary research, you depend on the data of other people who have gone to take surveys or interviews or focus groups. So you make use of existing data sources. You can also use reports and market trends, all right? But by all means, then there has to be a market research. So once that is done and you get your data, you analyze the data to be able to make informed business decisions. Okay, so for this week, our activity is to come up with business ideas. Okay, and these ideas should be based on local market needs. Local market needs. So it should be something that we can relate with. All right, it should be based on a local market need. And you should be able to come up with innovative solutions as well as creative thinking. All right. So as you come up with the idea, these should be your guiding questions. You should ask the current market gaps in the community, how you can use creativity to address the gaps, and then you will also identify potential risks and rewards for each idea. So each group is supposed to present not less than two. So at least two and at most three business ideas to the class. So we will do this when we meet. So you should be able to come up with 2 to 3 business ideas that will be presented to the class. Then after the presentation, this will be the second part of the work where you conduct a short market research exercise on one of the business ideas. So you will present 3 business ideas, and then out of the 3, each group will settle on one. And then based on the one, you have your project for the semester. Okay, so your guiding questions in selecting the one will be to ask yourself, what is the target market of the business idea? Who are the main competitors in that industry? Is there a sufficient market demand for the product or service? Okay, remember that you have to stay in business, and so you want to find out if there's sufficient market demand for the product or for the service. And these will be presented in class. Your findings will be presented in class. Okay, and this will be to demonstrate the feasibility of your idea. So this will be the second part of the activity. But for now, what you are supposed to do as a group is to brainstorm on the ideas, brainstorm as a group and come up with at least 2 and at most 3 business ideas that can be implemented in our local market. Okay, and then these will be presented in class. Thank you very much. I'll see you all soon.